Hello again, I am Jim Bob. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another mod spotlight. Today we are looking at the Merlo P41.7 Turbofarmer. It's a brand new Telehandler mod that's just gone live today. This has been brought to us by Arm Team. It's been around for quite a while on PC and has been very eagerly anticipated. And it's a really nice mod. It's a really small, compact vehicle as well. I think it's probably the smallest of all the telehandlers that are available. It's certainly a lot smaller than the JCB that I'm using on Big Bud Farm. But just look how small this body is. It's tiny. It's got a short wheelbase, plenty of steering options. Looks pretty nice, even up close. You can see some kind of rust patches here have been added into it. Looks a little rough around the edges around this logo here, but apart from that, this is really nice. You can see a little bit jagged here on this edge, but other than that, this is a really nicely put together mod. You know, you have to be standing up really close to really kind of pick fault with it. And we take a look around the back. We've got this rear attacher here. This can actually attach to quite a lot of things. I've tested it with a couple of trailers, an auger, a slurry tanker. It can connect to all of them. So yeah, very versatile into what you can actually hook up to with that rear attacher there. And let's take a jump inside and have a look at the interior of this as well. And I really like this interior. Again, it feels really compact and small in here. Tiny little cabin. Got our door handle just there. There's a roof guarding just above us there. Really nice. And we do have interactive fuel gauge. You just saw it flick on there as I turn the engine on. I'll turn it off and turn it on again. And there you go. You can just see the fuel gauge just to the right of the steering wheel, just flick on and off there. And it does have a working speedo as well, as you can see. And it has a variety of different steering options as well. So if we look at the exterior, you can see that we have all-wheel steering. We also have front-wheel steering, left crab, and right crab steering as well. So plenty of different steering modes available with this. Turns really well. Nice and nippy piece of machinery, as you can see here. And the arm is really good extension as well. So you've got a lot of height in the boom. You really can push this thing all the way up. And then in terms of arm extension, very good arm extension, as you can see. You can get really high with this thing, or really far out in front of you. And what we also have is we have kind of rust marks and scrape marks along here, which is a nice little detail touch as well. Obviously this would be sort of scraping on the inside of the tubing as it moves in and out. It's not going to be completely, you know, perfectly flawless in here, so it makes sense for this piece to look a little bit sort of battered and worn, and we've got that. We've got some rust detailing and some scrapes where the paint has been worn away. That's a really nice little touch. I like that. A little bit of attention to detail there from Arm Team. So let's see just how big this thing is, or should we say how small this thing is, by sticking it up against the other sort of base game telehandlers that we have available to us. So there we go. We've been flanked by the Manitou and by the Liebherr, and it's kind of hard to see which one is actually the biggest or the smallest. I've tried to line them up by their front wheels so we can kind of check the wheel base. And the Liebherr definitely looks to have a slightly bigger wheelbase, but the camera angles can be a little bit deceptive, so it's not always a straightforward, easy decision to spot. If we stand in between though, it does look as though the wheelbase on the Liebherr is a little bit bigger. So this is going to be able to turn a little bit tighter. If we compare it against the Manitou, these are actually really, really close, but again, it looks as though it does have a slightly shorter wheelbase than the Manitou. So that again means it would be able to turn a little bit tighter. And in terms of body size, they're pretty similar in body size, but again, the Manitou and the Liber are just that little bit bigger. If we check out the size in the cab, this feels just a little bit bigger. Obviously, it's got a very much more modern interior. A lot more detail in here. This is obviously an official Giants asset. And same again with the Liber. This actually feels quite compact and narrow in here. It feels maybe a little bit tighter. Again, an official interior. But it shows you just how good a job ARM team have done in here. I mean, we've got some basic functional equipment, but it's laid out very nicely. And it does give you that kind of squashed in kind of feel. And we sit sort of a lot closer to the wheel in here than we do in the others. So you can see the wheel sits a long way back there. This one, again, you're sitting a bit closer to the wheel. But this one you do feel really kind of pushed up against it. There's hardly any space in here at all. Really, really sort of cramped and squashed. So let's check out the other features of our little Merlo here. So first up, let's take a look at the lights. We have 3 stages of lighting. So we have front lights, we have rear spotlights, and then we have lights on the arm as well, which obviously move up and down with the arm itself. We do have indicators, although one kind of it's a minor niggle, and you can't really tell. You can't really tell in the daytime. It's easier to see at night, but you can just see this kind of orange glow here, where the light is the indicator is switched on. It's not there on the other side. Whereas on other vehicles, those sort of patches that show up on the ground will flash on and off with the lights. On this, while the lights flash, the glowing patches on the ground are permanent. They just stay there permanently until you turn the indicator off again, as you can see there. It's a minor niggle. It's by no means any kind of, issue with the vehicle itself. I absolutely love how nice this thing is. So we have working indicators on both sides, as you can see. We do have a working spot lamp as well. Not spot lamp, sorry, beacon. Tiny little horn, which kind of fits the personality of this vehicle, really, I think. And then we have that engine noise. Very similar to the Manitou in terms of its sound. The Liber actually has a distinctive sound of its own. But yeah, this is a really nice vehicle. I do like driving around in this, and it can actually do a pretty decent job with the bales as well, with a full stack of 4 bales. So we're going to drive over to the farm and actually test this with a full stack of 4 and show you its stability. So here we are at the sort of bale shed that I have on American Outback, and you'll notice that 3 of those bales are actually stacked vertically. It's because I did fall over while I was just testing this thing out earlier. I went a little bit too fast and a little bit too tight on a turn. But let's clamp down and lift. So you will see some rocking in the turns. I was really literally just throwing it and zigzagging it quite tight at pretty decent speed. So with 4-wheel steering like this, or all-wheel steering, you are going to need to be careful. That's not necessarily something that's unique just to this. I mean, I think pretty much any telehandler is going to have issues where you're going to be wary of a tip. But of course, having such a small wheelbase as well means that this is going to be, particularly susceptible to things like that. So one thing you could perhaps try would be to put it into 2-wheel steering. give you a little bit more stability. It means you can move around a little bit faster. You're not turning as tight. So you're still going to get some lean, you're still going to get some roll. But you can see here we're going at 15, 16 miles an hour. And we're actually looking relatively straight. We're not rolling too much. If you have a sudden change in direction, again, still pretty stable. Whereas if we were to do that with all-wheel steering, then we'd be sideways by now. You know, we'd be lying on our side and needing to right ourselves up. But you can see it's moving around really, really comfortably. You know, it can move these bales, no issues whatsoever. Even if we were to stretch the arm out, you can see the back is starting to lift off a little bit. But look how far away that weight is from the body of the vehicle now. And we're still able to sort of drive around. Just have to be a little bit more careful, as you can see, but you wouldn't drive around at that speed with your bales that far out. When you bring them in close, even lifted up, you can see we're a lot more stable, a lot more secure. Just a little bit, if you're going up to like 20 miles an hour, is when you start to really risk it. So there we go. That is the Merlo. It's a really, really nice little turbo farmer. I do love this. The P41.7 from Arm Team. If you haven't got one of these yet, then I do recommend you sort of download it and try it out. It's a lot of fun. It's really cheap as well compared to the others. I mean, if we compare it here with the Liber, this is 92,000, and the Manitou, which is 107,000. These are the kind of the two it's directly competing with. The Manitou is very, very similarly priced. It has 122 horsepower. Sorry, the Liber. The Manitou is 107,000, 141 horsepower. So this is very similarly rated power-wise, but obviously considerably cheaper. You know, or considerably more expensive than the Turbo Farmer. This is 17,000 euros or dollars or pounds, whichever your currency is, cheaper than the Manitou. It's just as functional and has 1 horsepower less. In terms of the Liber, it's 2,000 euros sterling, dollars cheaper, and has an extra 20 horsepower. So it's a really, really nice little mod, and I think it's properly priced as well. It's not too cheap that it's, you know, blindingly, you know, obvious that this is the only thing you're ever going to use, but it's not too it's not too underdone as well. It sits just nicely in that kind of pricing bracket. I really, really like this mod, so I definitely recommend it to everybody. Get yourself out there and give it a go. Thanks for watching. I am Jim Bob, and I will catch you all very soon.